Metalswap, financial hedging on DeFi, an introduction to the project. Hey there, this is Marco from the Metalswap team, and in this video we will start with a conceptual, high-level analysis to understand the problems that the Metalswap project addresses and why. First thing first, let's take off the table the most typical misunderstanding about the project. This is not a Uniswap-like protocol, so we are not talking about the classical crypto swap service where you can just swap one crypto asset for another. Instead, we are talking about the DeFi counterpart of a very well-known service in the traditional centralized finance, especially in the commodities market, namely the financial hedging of commodities price. To better understand what we are talking about, let's jump to the London Metal Exchange website. In this page, there is a great explanation of the hedging concept and thus of the problem that Metalswap addresses. You can find the link down below in the description of the video. I made some highlighting in the page, and the first important thing to note is that a large proportion of trading activity in commodities market comes from the needs of market participants to manage their price exposure to an underlying physical product. So businesses, real businesses that buy and sell commodities on the market are effectively doing this risk management activity on the financial markets. This risk management activity is the so-called hedging, as explained here in the second highlighted section. The purpose of hedging is to mitigate this price exposure and to insulate a company's performance from market movement. This is the basic definition of financial hedging. Let's jump directly to the example, which is pretty clear and explains a lot. I invite you to take a full read, a deep dive in this article, because it's really clear and explains a lot. ABC Corporation, so we have two fantasy company in this example, ABC Corporation and XYZ Limited. ABC Corp agrees to sell aluminium cases to XYZ Limited basis a fixed price of $1,900 per metric ton for delivery in 6 months. Key points here: fixed price and scheduled delivery. In this situation, ABC Corp bears the price exposure, bears the risk of price exposure, because they are agreeing today a delivery in 6 months from now, and they will need to buy the metal, the raw aluminium, the raw material at some times in the future, and they don't know today what the price will be in the future. So if the price of aluminium will be higher than today's one, they will bear a loss, they will register a loss. If the price goes down, they will register a profit. But this is not how businesses work. They want to insulate the performance from the market movement. So here is where financial hedging can be useful. This is the typical situation where financial hedging on the commodities price, on the metal price, can be useful. If you scroll down the page, you can see some charts about aluminium price over the year, and we can read that the largest price variation over a 4-month period varied between a minus 48% and a plus 42%. This is just wow, this is an incredibly high variation. Let's jump directly to the financial hedge section of the page, where we can read that the hedge is a purely financial agreement that ABC Corp enters via a broker, a bank, or another market participant. This agreement is separate from the contract with the physical metal supplier and solely addresses the metal price risk. Heading to the end of the example, we can see the whole picture here, especially if we have a look at this physical and financial flows down. This picture is really clear, but the key point here is that the initial risk together with the hedge position creates what is known as a flat or hedge position. Okay, whatever the market price will be in 4 months from now, ABC Corp knows in advance how much the aluminium is going to cost. The financial hedge, so the financial flow, fully compensate the initial physical exposure to the metal price. This is really clear if we have a look at this picture down here. On the left we have the physical flows, so the physical metal supplier and ABC. Okay, ABC buys the metal, and if in 4 months from now the metal price will be higher than today, ABC will register a loss. But on the other hand, in the right section of the picture, the financial flow, if the price of the metal will be higher, they will register a profit on the financial flows, on the hedging position. So these two positions will flat themselves out. Here in the financial section is where Metaswap comes into the game. But before diving into Metaswap, let's take a look at the drawbacks of centralization. Yes, because we talked about brokers, we talked about banks, we talked about market participant. Those are all centralized market participants, and they bear some real problems. The only way today to use this financial hedging is through a centralized intermediary, such as the London Metal Exchange. This centralized system suffers from significant drawbacks. A centralized intermediary has structural costs that are reflected in the fees that needed to open a hedge position. You need to entrust your funds to the centralized service that allows the opening of the hedge position. So you have to trust this intermediary. And as of today, there are 3 main international brokers setting the rules: the LME, London Metal Exchange, the CME, the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, and the SHFE, the Shanghai Futures Exchange. Such a narrow number of brokers is a de facto monopoly with top-down imposed prices. Of course, there is a need for bank coverage. The current system requires bank coverage. This adds up another level of trust, and we should also consider the lack of banking network in some areas of the world. And last but not least, there are limited operations on working hours. Market worldwide operates continuously, but brokers' offices don't. How can we solve all these problems? Of course, with DeFi and Metaswap. It's not by mistake that I'm still here on the very same slide. DeFi and Metaswap solve exactly these 5 problems. There are no intermediary, and so no structural costs reflected in the swap fees. There is no need to trust anyone in DeFi since there are no intermediaries. The funds are not entrusted to any third parties. There is no monopoly thanks to the intrinsic automatism of Metaswap and DeFi, and bank coverage is no longer necessary. This is, I think, the major key point, because Metaswap solved these issues with a shared liquidity pool system. Liquidity providers, investors, can get rewarded for their contribution to the liquidity pools, and hedge positions can be opened if and only if they can be counter-guaranteed by liquidity pools. Metaswap is a mathematically trustless system. And last, the markets, the DeFi markets, are open 24/7. There are no intermediaries, no offices, no waiting times. You just open the decentralized app and do what you need. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. To summarize, Metaswap is an ecosystem where, on one hand, business players who need financial hedge can find their risk management tool, and on the other, there are investors that can get their liquidity rewarded. This is what our smart contracts effectively do. So we have smart contracts, we have liquidity pools to guarantee the hedge position. Let's now take a look at the last piece of the puzzle, the XMT token. I'm going to take another slide, and I want to ask you a question. Who could design a better system other than the very users of the system itself? XMT is a governance token. This means that XMT holders will be allowed to vote on new updates to improve and manage the Metaswap ecosystem. This is what being a real decentralized autonomous organization means, a DAO. Holders of XMT tokens can then stake their tokens and increase their holding powers and voting power. And users of the swap service can collect XMT tokens for the time their swap contracts stay open. And on the other hand, investors providing liquidity to the pools will be rewarded and can farm XMT. As of today, you can get your hands on XMT token on Ethereum via Uniswap and on Binance Smart Chain via PancakeSwap. In the description below this video, you can find both of the contract addresses. Please be careful and be aware of scams and fake tokens. Let's head to the end of this video. And we are going to reply one of the most asked questions in our community, that is, why Ethereum? Well, the answer is quite easy. Metaswap is a financial hedging service, and the market in which it operates is huge. Take a look at these numbers. I'm going ahead in the slide. We are talking about tens of billions of dollars just for the copper market. We read 17.5 billion US dollars of copper exportation from Chile, $25 billion of copper importation from China. London Metal Exchange alone earned 1 billion UK pounds just in brokerage commission in 2019. Just wow. So now we can answer this question. Why Ethereum? Well, there are three main reasons why we choose Ethereum. Reason number one, would you ever buy an insurance on assets so valuable, remember these numbers, from an unsecure insurance broker? Of course not. So our choice is to use the most secure blockchain out there as of today, Ethereum. Reason number two, oracles. For the Metaswap protocol to work properly, we need to fetch data from outside the blockchain. We need to fetch the metal commodities prices. The only blockchain as of today where one can find decentralized oracle services such as Chainlink is Ethereum. Reason number three, liquidity. If you remember, the Metaswap protocol uses the shared liquidity pool system, so the protocol needs liquidity to guarantee the opening of hedge positions. As you have seen, the commodities market is multi-billionaire. And what is the chain with the highest value locked, with the highest liquidity? You already know the answer, but let's have a look at this other link from DeFi Llama, which is defilama.com/chain. You can find even this link in the description below. And we can see that Ethereum blockchain holds more than 60% of the total value locked on all blockchains in the world. Okay, enough for this video introduction on the Metaswap project. There is just one more thing I want to bring to your attention. That is all the official project links, all the official project channels where you can follow the project, get news and updates, and actively participate to the discussion. I'm going to show you them here. You can find us on Twitter, the official Twitter account at metaswap.net. You can find us on Telegram. We have the official news channel, which is t.me/metaswap, and we have several groups groups to enable the discussion between you, our community. As of today, we have the international English group, the Italian group, and the Spanish group. You can find us on Discord, the server Metaswap. You can find us on Medium. Medium.com/Metaswap is our publication, is our blog. You can find us even on Facebook. There is a Facebook page at Metaswap Official, and you can find us on Reddit. The subreddit is Metaswap.net. Of course, you can find the official site of the project, which is metaswap.finance, and last but not least, this YouTube channel where you are watching this very video, which I kindly ask you to subscribe to. Let us know in the comments below what do you think about the project and how you liked this video. To the Metaswap!